Hi friends! Life is full of choices, so let's explore the best ways to thrive. This is the Connecting You podcast, hosted by me, Mayra Richards, and my marketing director, Emily Robinson. Tune in to discover a healed, healthy, and purposeful life.
Hi friends, welcome back to the Connecting You podcast. This is season 3 on friendships. We're so glad that you came back and joined us. This season, we were honestly getting a little bit down talking about anxiety and healthy relationships. Before that was a bit sad. So now we're ready to reconnect with each other, reconnect with a lighter topic, have some laughs, and think about the meaning of friendships. So in that spirit, we have one of Mayra's best friends, Christina, here as our guest, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Hey, Connecting You podcast. I am one of Mayra's best friends, Christina. I also work with Mayra, or should I say for her, at
You can
Remain
say either.
Connected.
It's probably either.
Either way. And today we're going to kick it off talking about why friendships are meaningful and just kind of see where it goes. And it should be very authentic because Mayra is my best friend. So I'll have a lot of very fresh inspiration sitting beside her talking about my best friend.
Yeah, and Emily's my cousin, so then it's
Yeah.
you know, the friendships,
Yeah.
it's crazy because they're similar and so different in so many ways.
And I feel like I've
said that before. Huh?
I was gonna say, I feel like I've known Emily as your cousin, and now the older she gets, the more she's like Emily is your friend.
Yes.
I mean, I know she's still your cousin, obviously, but
I know what you mean.
she's like fully integrated as our friend. Yeah.
Integrated, like I'm leveling up, evolving. Yeah, I feel like Mayra and we honestly weren't close, like friends, I would say, for a while. I mean, her sister Crystal was mainly the one who like babysat me growing up, and like I knew her the most. And then she like went to Pennsylvania, which was really sad for me. But now that Mayra and I started working together, I feel like we've like found a lot more similarities than we knew about before.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Also would, you know, when we had the question pop up for this season of the first topic being why are friendships meaningful, I liked that we went around before the episode and we went around saying like what it means to each one of us because it's very different according to our personalities.
Mm-hmm.
So, Christina, why don't you kick us off as to why are friendships meaningful to you?
Okay. When can I do my icebreaker though?
Oh, you can do it now.
All right, I have an icebreaker that I want to get Mayra's live answer. All right, so I asked Mayra this week to get a matching tattoo with me, and she wouldn't. She didn't even respond.
Okay.
And I want to know,
gosh.
in the spirit of best friendship, why do you not want a permanent reminder of our bond?
It's a hot topic.
A hot topic. Yeah, I don't do tattoos. That's just not something that I've ever wanted, that I ever think of. I think about being 85 years old and my tattoo being wrinkly and unimportant. And I honestly think that I saw it, and I remember that text now, but I was doing something else, and yeah, I think
Mayra's not a good texter anyways. That's a bad format. Ask her.
Yeah.
She blocked it out.
Yeah, totally. Like, I remember that now.
The funny thing is that I knew she hated tattoos, but I thought that because of our friendship, or for you,
like override the hatred of tattoos.
I never wanted that.
I was like, wait, could this be meaningful enough? And then I got no response from her or our other friend.
It's funny that you were like trying to see, like, measure your worth. Like, is it enough?
I'll probably get one. I'll probably still get a tattoo that means something about our friendship.
About Mayra.
Yeah, I would totally be on board with you getting one because you already have some and you like them.
What are you gonna say? No, Mayra, like you can't get a tattoo.
No, I don't. Yeah, I just have towards them. Like I don't.
I'm very like blasé about tattoos. Like I would get one just because. Like I would get one with Christina because it doesn't matter to me.
You have to get one.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Why are friendships meaningful to you?
Friendships are meaningful to me. I think the word I said earlier when we talked about it was, I said I felt like friendships are like my destiny in a sense. Like I don't imagine like living my life or like becoming who I want to become in isolation. Like I feel like, I mean, I'm super extroverted, but I just can't imagine like existing without them. It like feels like my destiny was to be a friend, if that makes sense.
What do you think that you gain when you have friendships? Like what part of you do they draw out?
I think it's more the like feeling of being known. Like it's the feeling of being connected to something bigger than myself more than drawing out. Someone did joke with me last week that I collect introverts. And I kind of noticed that after they said that, because like the people I'm most drawn to are introverts. Like the people have the deepest connection with are always introverts.
I think I would say that it has to do, because my answer was fun, right? And I think it's because friendships make me more fun. They draw out like the childlikeness in me. That's why Gavin and I just started dating, because he could draw out of me, and he was a friend for anything.
Yeah.
And so I think you look at a person and you're like, there's something in them that I want that I don't know how to fully get. But maybe if I'm around them, then I'm going to somehow, some part of that I will gain.
Yeah. And I think you're a person that represents like calm and peace for me. And it's like, I'm so busy and crazy and chaotic that like other extroverts are really high energy people. We can have fun together, but I don't necessarily feel like I can slow down and just enjoy. And I feel like with you, I can just like be present. Like it's easy to feel grounded.
Yeah.
Like that is true. I feel like friendships stand out for what they draw out of us that we need. Like innately, we want to have it,
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't really think about it like that at all.
Really?
Yeah, because I think I'm the same. Like, I'm probably crazier when I'm alone. We're not going to get into what that means. Yeah, I don't really look at friendships as like, oh, I wish I was more this or that, or like I can be this other thing around people. Like, it's definitely not that at all for me. I just think that having people there like adds so much to the experience in terms of like if I can find people who enjoy the same types of conversations that I do, the same types of like places that I like to go. For me, friendship, I said mine was the word for me was like safety. I find friendships very safe because I can find a person who like we can do anything with. Like I guess I collect people who are very go with the flow or easygoing, that like I could go to like Las Vegas, or I could invite them to my house for a movie, or I could invite them like I guess it's me inviting people, but it's very safe in terms of like I can be the same at all of these places at all of these times. There's like a lot of acceptance and like support. It's just like an added layer of like, yeah, I could go by myself or I could go with you and it would be like better.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Like, I hope that people get like everybody's personality will determine what it means to them and why they need friends. Because I've never thought about it the way that you do. It's not right or wrong. It's just different, right? And it's like, I don't know. And I am the opposite of you. I'm an introvert. So it's like, I don't know that I think that it would make anything better. It does once you do it. But in my head, I'm like, well, I'll just retrieve, and that's what's better for me. But I love that other people think that way, because I think otherwise I wouldn't have friends. Because I have been collected by the extroverts around me. Like somebody asked me one time, how do you make so many friends? And I'm like, you just have to find one extrovert that will find you, or you find them, and then they just take you around their friend circles, and in one at least of their friend circles, you're going to find another person who you align with.
Yeah.
I guess the extroverts, I'm speaking for Emily. I don't know if you are one, but I feel like we are the inviters. Like anything I'm doing, once I met Mayra, I'm like, oh, come do this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And like immediately she'll meet anyone that's my friend is her friend. But an introvert is maybe less intentional about inviting. I don't know.
I don't know if this is an introvert thing, but I do know that I am more possessive and guarded and more like, hey, I want a small group. Like I feel safer in a small group, and I don't necessarily want 25 people to come.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I just need these 3 other people or 4 other people, and then I'm
Yeah. I think the content of what happens in a smaller group though is so much deeper, to be honest.
That's probably
if
why
it's the right
I like
if
it.
it's the right group.
Right. Yeah.
You can go a lot deeper.
But I think that's also part of like friendships being meaningful is like a learning curve. You can learn about yourself. You can learn what you don't like in others, or just by like observing.
Yeah, and it changes over time, which leads us to the next question of like, how have your friendships changed over the seasons? Right. And
what about you, man?
Over the season,
like how have your friendships changed over time? Even like pre-college, like you still are friends with some of your high school friends, right?
Yeah, I think that there's a comfort with my high school friends. Yeah. Like they've known, especially like high school. I'm thinking about one, Kayla, who I've known since, I don't even know how long I've known. I've known her for a really, really long time, probably middle school or high school. And she went to the same college as I did. And so she knew even pre-Christian Mayra, you know, like, and there's such a sweet comfort to that because they've known you, you're the worst of you and the best of you. And to get together and now we're okay. You know, it's like, we made it, guys. Like, we're okay. We've been through some hard times and we're still friends. And that's just sweet when I think about her. And then with other people in college, that has changed a lot. But there's always been one friend in some of the groups, whether that's with Dominate or with us or whatever, who's the pursuer, I would say. And that's not necessarily me, again, because I can be in my room for a really long time by myself if you let me. Yeah. But I've really appreciated them reaching out and being like, hey, we're still here. We still want to know about you. Yeah. So it's changing the people that I pick. I think that now I get to pick. Where before I felt like college was just anybody that was around you, you kind of, who did you align with, and that's who you went with. And now I get to pick, and that's nice. It's nice to know that I get to choose who influences my life.
Yeah. What about you, Tina?
I feel like I have lifetime friends and then I have seasonal friends. But I feel like some of my friendships, like the last year, I reconnected a lot, like very deeply with my high school and middle school and younger friends. And I had this preconceived idea that because once I got to college and became a Christian, they were super disconnected from me, like that they didn't know who I was. And it was so funny. I think I told you this maybe, but I was like, oh, they know me better than any of my friends know me. And I'm exactly the same to them. Like it didn't impact, they don't think of me differently because I became a Christian, and they're not more reserved around me. And they actually think I'm the exact same. Like, not in like, obviously, like I have wisdom and values and I live my life very differently based on what I value, but like my personality and like everything about me, they're like, I was just really shocked that they knew me so deeply at such a deep level. And then there's like friendships you make like with Mayra, or like friendships that I think you form in really pivotal times, like pivotal seasons where you're like actually becoming at a really accelerated rate who you're gonna become. And I feel like I met Mayra during that season. And there's a few friends I have that are just like family to me, like Daniel and Katie. That's like a kind of different thing. But then everyone else has felt a little bit seasonal, like they're there, they're in my day-to-day life, or they show up for some event, or like there's a circumstance that really connects us in a season to where we're like, we have a lot of context for each other. But then like if there's no intentionality after that season, especially if it's on one side, like if I notice I'm pursuing, I just kind of let it go at this age. Like I think I like what she said, like we now get to choose, which I'm way more intentional about and way more proactive with. It's kind of hard for me to not be friends with people, but I have to like learn to be really intentional about it because I only have so much time and I only have so much of me. And like, I like the way Mayra influences and reminds me who I am. So like, I'll always, I mean, either way, I would still choose her. But like, I now, if I made new friends, I would look for someone who is someone that adds stability and like safety and value to my life in that way.
And I think we try to normalize that it is okay for friends to be for seasons, and a few will be for a lifetime.
Yeah.
What about how have your friendships changed over the seasons?
Yeah, I thought about that a lot as we like prepared for this episode, and then listening to Tina, who's very extroverted, be like, she has to actually ration her time and like put boundaries so that like not everybody has them. I'm definitely not like that at all. I think the people who are my friends, it's like they really wanted to be my friends because it can be hard to get past the like. I didn't really notice this consciously, but I have something of like an initiation period in terms of like I can be very like cold, whatever, like brushing people off, like when they're very like new to me. I'm like, I don't need to answer you. Like, who are you? But then the people who I'm like consistently friends with were the people who were like, they were there anyways, even if it like other people thought I was like rude or cold or like closed off. And these people were just like remained there for like, I don't know how long. And then like once we're friends, then like we will just be friends forever. Like if I'm like we'll like fly to see each other. Like a couple of weeks ago, my friend was like, I'm going to Miami, like come to Miami. And then I just like stay at her house, and that's great. Like we don't have to talk every day. It's like an assumed connection that like we just remain friends and like we keep up. And I have a lot of those friends where it's like we're still friends, like we still have phone calls, we'll still hang out. And then I have other friends who like I just text them like every small part of my day. And I think that's something very unexpected from me, who like people don't think is like the most talkative or anything. But like if we're close friends, I'm like, this bird is outside the window, like staring at me. And I will like text you 15 times in a row. And it doesn't matter if you're answering. And I'll like call you and then I'll like FaceTime you, and like very persistent. So I think I change over the season. And then the people who are my friends are just like very stable people.
And that's the hope, right? That they will accept you as you change over in the next 15 years. Like we're close to 15 years older than you. And so as we change, as we progress, that hopefully we can live in a world where our friends can accept, they don't have to support everything, but they can accept who we are and how we've grown. And I also love that you said, you know, it takes me a while to feel secure and make friends or whatever, because the answer to the first question, you said safety. And so safety is a huge value for you. And of course that will take some time to figure out that whoever you're friends with is safe. Yeah. What are some practical tools to make friends? If you just moved to a new city, or you became a mom, or, you know, if you're in a different season of your life, what would be something small that they could do?
I want to share a little story to answer this question.
Has to be quick.
This week, someone asked me who my best friend was, and my very first response was to say my parents, and then I said Mayra.
Huh.
And I realized that the people, which kind of ties into what Emily just said, the people that are my closest friends or that know me best or have the people who've seen me the most of me, like they've seen the full spectrum, and they can almost at this point tell me more about me than I can tell them about me. But I think part of that, what stood out to me in this question was like, the best way I know of to make friends is practicing being your full self at all times. Like, I don't reserve any part of how crazy I am or how much I love God or how much I like I'm very comfortable now, I think, with the ugly parts of me and the parts of me that are not refined because of the friendships I've made that tell me I'm safe enough to just be a mess or be great or be down or be good or be happy or be sad. But I think now I approach new friendships with nothing to prove, with nothing to offer. I'm not trying to help them. I'm not trying to fix them. I'm not trying to impress them. I'm just showing up. But I think you have to put yourself out there to even practice building connections. Like, connections take a lot of time and take a lot of work. But unless you're willing to like just be yourself and be comfortable with that, like, you don't really have a chance to make new friends. Like, you have to actually put in some type of effort to just say like, I'm going to go out of my way to talk to this person, and they could reject me. They could have zero interest in me, but I'm going to continue the practice of just like simply talking to people that are around me, or like finding ways to like have opportunities to talk to new people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I hear you, like, practically that would look like accept who you are and be that person around whoever's around you. And then to make the effort to be uncomfortable and reach out to somebody.
Yeah. Because practically it's not going to stick. Like, you're going to just keep Groundhog Daying if you're not showing up as yourself.
Right.
And also, you're never going to get a chance to have friends if you don't put yourself out there.
Right.
Which new cities, new moms, like stuff like that, you're just going to have to look for like groups. Like, you're going to have to research people that are already meeting opportunities close to you.
Yeah. So I was going to say, like, practically for me, that would be like, hey, join a group.
Yeah.
Any group,
absolutely.
Join a community group, join a Bible study, join
anything.
I'm doing boot camp, join that. Like, join something where you have higher chances to make friendships.
Yeah. I think my thing goes hand in hand in that, which is a little bit more of like a very practical step, which is, you know how people always say like, hey, how are you? I'm good. How are you? Good. And that's like it. I like never do that. I actually respond. So like, there's a Dollar General near my house, and this one lady is like around my age. She's been really, really nice for a Dollar General employee. The other ones are kind of mean. And she's like, yeah, how are you doing today? She's like, how are you? And I'm like, oh, my foot hurts because I had this surgery and that was supposed to be done, recovering, and I'm not done. So now I can't walk. And then we're just like talking, or like my friend Stephanie, she like owns this like pea shop, and I would go in and I would just talk to her. And then one day she was like, do you want to hang out? Like, would you like to be friends? And then we just hang out outside of that. So I think that goes along with like actually being yourself, like just pause and actually open up to like people. Like, most people are quite nice, especially like women and friendships and like in public spaces. It's a lot easier than you would think. Like, even if you don't have something positive to say, like, my foot hurts, it's still you, it's still raw.
Yeah, still intentional to open up.
Yeah.
She's really good at like just getting herself out of her bubble. Like, she could just stay home if she wanted to, but she'll like join a group. She won't overthink it, which I think is important. Like, if she wants to go to a gym, she'll just sign up. She wants to have a mom's group, she'll just sign it up or make it.
Well, I usually, I think that practically that would look like I start things, right? So I'm like, oh, I moved to Smyrna. This other friend has been talking about starting a group. Let's just start it. Like, we're going to start it. And I'm going to text 20 people, and if 2 come, then that's great.
Right.
And if none come, that's okay too. Like I have to be okay with like, okay, well, maybe it's not my season to do
Right.
this. But usually at least one person has come, and that has been the way that I reach out and I take the effort.
Yeah, like taking it out of your thought and just action. Like taking action. I feel like you're really good at that. And you just kind of have to do that to make friends, because it's never going to be just like come find you. You're going to have to always like initiate some type of action to have the change to like have new friendships.
Yeah.
And I think like my final thought is like, and the belief behind that has to be that it could go well, right? Like the reason you wouldn't start those things is because you think like, oh, they're not going to like me. Oh, they don't need a new friend. Like you just don't even have to think about all that. Like just believe that this other person in front of you is like willing to make a connection or has time to, because they're in front of you. So the final two questions that we wanted to leave you guys with to really listen about your friendships, and this is for our listeners to think on, is why are friendships meaningful to me? And who do I want to invest in this season? Those are our final thoughts, and we're going to keep talking about friendship in the next couple episodes. Thank you so much, Tina, for being our guest.
Yeah. Happy to be here.
As we wrap up today's episode, we are grateful you join us to explore what it means to remain connected to God, to yourself, and to others. To stay updated on future episodes, be sure to hit that subscribe button and connect with us on Instagram and Facebook at Remain Connected. Counseling appointments can be made at RemainConnectedLLC.com. Your support means the world to us. Until next time, may you find peace in your connections and blessings in every step of your journey. Have a blessed day.